Hello, here is BB Walker. Welcome to my channel again. In this channel, we discuss digital pianos, keyboards, arrangers, loopers, and more. In today's video, we will go deep down to looper and Yamaha keyboard. But basically, this knowledge could be applied to any keyboard and to any looper, so it doesn't matter which producer you have. In this video, I will show you the basic setup of Boss loop station with Yamaha PSR S670, and we will also answer the question from one of you: is it possible to use this as a standalone setup, minimalistic, super basic setup, to use the internal speakers of the Yamaha to, play and do this from scratch? So if you are interested in, just give me a second and we'll start in a moment. Okay, so at the beginning we will take a look on the rear panels of both devices. At this moment I have only attached the DC in, which is the power cords for both devices, and any other cable is not, connected yet, because I would like to show you all the basic setup and how this things works, and actually I think it's good to understand the basic concept, because if you understand the basic concept, then you can go forward with some other stuff. So most of the devices in the music industry for sending signal uses cable called one of quarter H, and in Europe they are called the big jack or TRS mono. So it's a basic guitar instrumental cable, and in our condition we will need a cable which is a quarter inch jack mono for both endings. So to connect two devices like looper with keyboard, keyboard with guitar, guitar with amplifier, amp, and so on, you basically use such a keyboard, such connections, such sockets. They are the mostly widely used in music industry. Of course there are several other options, but let's go forward. So basically, to use a looper, which is a device which should take some audio signal. It's electronic, of course. It's a electric signal, analog signal. So basically you want to get an output from the instrument which produces sound, which is keyboard in our conditions. So I will connect it with one left and right channels. Most of the devices in today's world, I will show you from this perspective, so you will be able to see what's going on. So basically, output of the keyboard, one left channel, all mono. Some of them are mixed mono and stereo in one channel, but if you don't want to play stereo features in basic, super basic connection, you get the output from this and go with input in the looper. There's also two sockets for input, and we will be connecting to left here and left here, and usually left is also mono signal. So if you don't want to have stereo, which is two channel per track, you just connect output to input in here. Okay, and so basically this is super basic setup for playing with looper. Looper records some music and plays back again. So this is basically how the looper works. It helps you to train music composition, to train to practice without the other guy which plays with you. So you could, for example, play a chord progression and then practice with solo. So basically Yamaha PSR has built-in speakers. It's an important thing, because if you play something, it instantly, go to the output, to the speakers, but also to this output. So basically, if you play something, it goes with this cable to looper and it's recorded. Okay? And a question from one of you called Yogesh Chander Shkar, sorry for the mispronouncing your name. However, Yogesh asked, is it possible to use this internal speakers from Yamaha or any other instrument, depending what do you have, with this looper? Because we have a port called aux in, auxiliary in, which allows you to play something going back to the instrument and play through the speakers. However, with looper, such setup is very, problematic, because you are making the infinite loop, because everything which is produced here goes to input, and everything which goes from here to input is also automatically sent to output, to left, right, and phones. And I have tested it, and actually there is a noise gate. It's a it's a kind of electronic device, a kind of module which blocks the looping. However, you got this infinite loop and it's bad. So the best way to, and of course, if you record all the performance on looper and you don't want to use it as a playing and looping at the same time, but only use looper as a playback device, you could use the output and put to the auxiliary in, and I will show you in a moment how it's possible. But at the stage where I'm recording, the best way to do this with minimal setup, of course, without buying devices like studio monitor, which I have here, for example, in my everyday work. I use the studio monitor. Now, as you can see, I have disconnected all the stuff. So basically, if you want to do this, you can take a headphones with the same output. It's stereo. In this example, it's a headphones which is converted from a 3.5 called 1/8" to 1/4". So you basically need the headphones with this bigger version, this big jack, and this we will connect to phones in here. And you of course won't be able to hear the bit which is given by the loop, but you will be able to hear all the other loops. And then at the end I will show you how to playback it using auxiliary in, and why it's not good idea to do this recording and playing at the same time. So let's get started. Alright, so we are now in this perspective. So we are connected output to input to the looper. Output from the looper is connected to headphones. And now we start both devices. This is actually also the tutorial how to set up it for working at home without any other extra equipment like mixers, because with this super minimalistic setup the mixer won't be necessary. Of course, it's convenient to many ways to set levels, if you have monitors, you could adjust volume and so on. But in today's video we will do this as the cheapest, the simplest way, I think. But you need the following things: keyboard, looper, and headphones, and the cables, of course. Okay, so we get grand piano. And in the looper, I will set a pre-counter, which is very, very useful. So we got two bank, which is completely empty. I press edit on the rhythm, select the beat. Okay, and here is this option called rhythm recount pre-counter. It's off, and I will change it to 1 measure, and the tempo now is 100. Okay, if you are interested about the MIDI synchronization tempo using MIDI cable, now it's only analog without synchronization. We will be using the synchronization by human hand. Okay, but if you are interested, check the description. Okay, so 120 BPM. So this is all the setup that I have done on the looper. I will try to find a perspective where everything is shown, alright, I think it's good. So I will record some simple chord progression, and after that I will play another section. So let's try I need to use my headphones to hear the beat from the looper. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need to use it again because I have made the level of input to 0 because I was testing somewhere. So basically my loop is empty. You are pressing and holding stop to record again, and let's record again. Basically it's a convenient way to, you know, show you everything without cuts. So if you do something bad, you could also learn on my own mistakes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you cannot hear, but here on the headphones we got our loop with beat. And okay, so what can we do next? Is it possible now to listen this using the speakers? Yes, it's possible, but you need a special cable, and I will show you this cable. This cable is a cable which from one side has two mono 1/4-inch jacks, and from the another side it is a stereo 1/8 jack. Something with the zoom is always bad, but I hope you see the idea, because auxiliary input in most of the devices, the Yamaha PSR 975 home cinemas and many other devices, are this small jack 3.5 millimeter on 1/8 inch jack stereo, and basically we use it here to auxiliary in, and the second will go. I need to cut down a little bit some volume because probably you will see in a moment what will happen. So the second one goes here to left output. And now as you can hear, we got the speakers playing. But what will happen if I turn the volume a little bit up? This is infinite loop. This is this gain, because everything which goes to the looper goes to the output, and it comes again to auxiliary and goes to the output, so we got this infinite loop. Of course, we could adjust the levels of the auxiliary input here using mixer and going to balance. And if you press balance again, you will see the auxiliary input level is here. However, this is only if we play. We could, now you listen the headphones, now you listen the speakers, but you must be aware, I will stop the loop. You must be aware that this is only, you know, for very limited capacity, and I mean, it's very not recommended way to do, because you get infinite loop, and if you have infinite loop, the sound is distorted, the sound is bad, and you don't have separated tracks. It could be used only as some kind of, you know, emergency playing something. The best way is to use headphones or use external device, or even old radio with auxiliary input, so you connect the 3.5 jack to another device 3.5 jack, and you have the speakers playing this monitoring. So I will disconnect it because I don't want to make loops, infinite loops, and I will again record something to another track. So we are pressing play, 2, 3, 4. As you can hear, I can mix in lifetime. So this is basically how you can achieve some super minimalistic setup with looper and the keyboard. Of course, there are several other options that you can do with it. You can split the channels to left and right to record the, for example, voices from Yamaha sent on one channel, the style, the beats, the drums set to another channel, and then record separately, so you won't be looping. For example, you don't want to loop the drums, but you want to loop the voice, I mean the piano, and if you, or any other instrument. And if you are interested how to do this, there's also a video. I will put the link into the description. To summarize all the stuff, basic answer, if you can you use the same device, I mean using the auxiliary input is the only option in such a device. Even if Yamaha PSR you get guitar input, but the problem is always the same. If your device is not a mixer, I mean it can have an input, but this input is immediately sent to output. I mean not to speakers. Of course, the speakers are in parallel connected to the output. The only situation when you can use it, if the auxiliary input goes to speakers but it doesn't go to output, if there is two, separate path for the sound processing, and this, the sound is split into two ways, and it's not in parallel, but it's separated one from another. So the only way you will have this in maybe not 100, 99% cases, you won't be able to do this because of this infinite loop, because input goes to output, and looper also works as the same way, because in other options you won't be using the best of the looper. The best of the looper is the separate input without any other disturbing background sound and loops, I mean other tracks, rhythms, etc. So basically straight output goes to input of the looper, record on one track, then we record another track, maybe bass line, maybe drums, maybe, I don't know, pads, depending on the style you are playing. So the basic, the cheapest, the simplest way is to use headphones for synchronization and playing separately, and then you will have all the tracks separated. You can move it to your computer. You make a setup or record it live using external recorder. But you always need external speakers. I mean, it could be headphones, or it could be studio monitors, or I don't know, old computer speakers, maybe very cheap, because you only need this for, you only need this for live monitoring. It doesn't, affect your signal. It doesn't affect the sound quality you produce, because everything is recorded on the looper. Okay, so I think it's all for now, all the digression. If you have any questions and you want me, for example, to dig this topic more, or you have any other problems with connection, now I have shown you the super basic setup of looper, any looper. On my channel you can also find the Zoom G3X guitar looper, so you can also use it in the same way here. And the keyboards, most of the keyboards have this output, 1/4-inch jacks, mono for definite channel, and they also have the auxiliary input. But the auxiliary input main purpose is if you have, for example, a backing track from your iPod or Android phone, and you have this output, you can connect it here to play a backing track and then practice with piano. So I think it's all for now. If you have any questions, just give me a comment. And it was BB Walker. And also at the end, I really thank you for 6,000 subscribers. We have passed it, last week. For example, now it's even close to 6,100 subscribers. So thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the subscribers. It's great for me. It gives me a power and motivation to, expand my channel and develop it more. So thanks again for watching. It was BB Walker. Good luck.